world. So happy to be here, and Rick already gave some insights on the Joomla timeline, but I'll do that now in more detail. So what happens on October 16th, 2029? Yay! Joomla 8. Yeah, and you know, there's always a party. There's always a release party when there is a Joomla release. So I can invite you already. Just contact me afterwards. I'll put your email there, and you will be at the release party. But we do have these release parties also for all other versions. So if you want to join one of them and see, there's the release managers, there's somebody from the release team, from the maintenance team, marketing. So all the people that work together, that's the Joomla release is actually released. So if you want to join one of those parties, just contact me, or you will always see it in MetaMost, and that was already there. We always post the link there in the community so you can join it. Yeah, so, but Joomla 8, what? The actual title of my session today. My name is Sigrid Gramlinger. I'm from Austria, just outside Vienna. I'm in the Joomla community for like, I don't know, 15 years or so, but working with Joomla longer. I'm active in the German-speaking community. I'm also a co-organizer of the JoomlaDay DACH, which is Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and it will be in about 6 weeks in Freiburg. So if anybody, we also have English tracks there, so if anybody wants the same experience again, just go there. There will be more people, so it's a huge event for Joomla sizes. So it will be around, we hope to get like 150, so it's a huge thing. Hope to see you there too, maybe. And within the Joomla community, I'm a Joomla production department coordinator. So there's the link is there, volunteers, joomla.org, board of directors. So that sounds really fancy. What's that? Open Source Matters is the organization behind Joomla. There's no company or so that's paying us or whatever. So we are all volunteers. And that's the organizational structure. So I have this in my other sessions I did do in the last time. So we have the board of directors. We have the 4 from the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. That's the officers. And we have 3 department coordinators. So currently president is Maria. She's from Greece. Vice president is Emmanuel. He's from France. Secretary is Phil. He's over there. He's from the UK. Treasurer is Nadia, she's from Germany. Operations department, so that's everything that's with the Joomla websites itself, like also the servers and everything we have. That's at the moment Carlos Camara from Spain. Outreach department coordinator is since about a week Richard Goslar, officially there. He's also from the UK. And I'm the production department coordinator. So that's the full board of Open Source Matters. We meet every 2 weeks, Thursday night. So last night we had a meeting on the train, kind of. It was a bit difficult, but yeah. So, but that's nothing to, I mean, we're providing or maintaining, sustaining the structure of Joomla, of the organization of Open Source Matters. But like the CMS itself, it's in my department. So there's all the teams there, like maintenance team, release team, documentation, automated testing, accessibility, and everything. So if you're interested in anything like that, just contact me. I'll let you know if there's where you could support best and be there. But let's get back to Joomla 8 on October 16, 2029. Why do we know that? Because we have timed releases since Joomla 4.1. So that means, and Rick already said that, we have every 2 years, we have a major release. And we had that in summer, but then some people said, okay, that's difficult, it's holiday season and so on. So we moved it to October. So it's always, I think, the 2nd Tuesday or so, something like this in October. So we have a major release. So now in October, there will be Joomla 6, and in 2 years, Joomla 7, and so on. Every 6 months, we have a minor release with like 6.1, 6.2, and so on. And every 6 weeks, we have a maintenance bug fix release or security release. So that, and they are always on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. UTC. So at the moment, that's 18 o'clock here in our time zone. So that's why I know Joomla 8 will be on October 16th, 2029. And why does setting a date matter in open source? I think it gives a lot of predictability and planning. It's building trust because you know when it's be there and you can work towards that goal. Also for sustainability, quality assurance because you know the same procedures every time. And I also think it's also about credibility because we know we can rely on each other and also the outside knows it's going to happen. But there's also, of course, some downsides to that, like a delay of features. Because it's not ready on time, we have a release plan, then it's not in. But you know it will be there in 6 months, for example. If it's in the next, if it's a bug fix, it will be in 6 weeks. So you always know. But it's also it gets some kind of upgrade fatigue with the clients, with the people, because you might have to do adjustments and everything. You have reduced flexibility because if it's not finished, you'll have to wait. And of course, sometimes you get the confusion of users, it's again there because they're not so involved in the community. And the BC breaks, the backwards compatibility breaks increase like for every 2 years. When we had Joomla 3 for 11, 12 years, there was no BC breaks, but they were also not possible. And we had to stay with the same technology basis. So now we have every 2 years, we have the chance to do some breaks, but we really try to reduce it with the backwards compatibility plugin, for example. So that's all really good ideas, I think, to keep us modern and on modern basis. But we're all volunteers, so we'll all have to keep that. But I think for us, the timed releases is such a big help and support for the community. And I also think it creates vision and energy because we know where we can work towards. So, and this is also Joomla 8. We had a sprint, and I'll talk about that now because Benjamin, where's Benjamin? Oh, he's here, but he has to finish some. He's hiding. Okay. He approached me like in June, like he wants to do a sprint. And the sprint is usually developers hide for 3 days, code something, and then you have some shiny new feature. But we didn't want to make it different. We wanted to make it more like a strategy sprint. So we thought about, we've looked for a date and everything and did the preparation. We had a magazine article in June where we informed people that we will have a sprint because we didn't want to make it just a few people from one team to meet. We want to make it more open. We want to make other people to participate. So we had a magazine article and we had an application form so people could apply for that. We also knew there should be some people for sure because we needed some also like stability and also people from the core developers, for example. So we had an application form. We also had people recommend others that should take place. So we also contacted those people to apply. And then we had about 30 people that really wanted to be there. We did the people we didn't know. We did make interviews. So we would check the commitment. So if they would also be there after the sprint, because we didn't want to make a sprint. Everybody goes there, has nice ideas, and that's it, because then it's not going in realization. So it would be stuck there. We wanted to prevent that. So that's why we talked to the people and asked them if they can imagine to also stay afterwards and try to, but to make these features happen. So, and it was also about expectation management, because people were kind of really thinking we would like save Joomla and even save the internet. So because there were a lot of expectations on that sprint from the people who knew it. And they, so there was then we talked to the people. We tried to make a group that's rather equal in that could work well together, we thought. So, and then some people were really disappointed they couldn't be there, but we were a group of 14 people. So we had to limit that. And I'm sorry if somebody wanted to be there and couldn't, there will be other chances. So then there was the 20-year celebration this summer. And I was doing a session on the future of Joomla. I have maybe you can see it, not see it from the back. I have a short URL, Joomla Future 2025, that links directly to the YouTube video. I wanted to prepare for the sprint also like the target groups, or to have more, because some people expected us that we talk about marketing there, and we didn't want to talk about marketing because that's something else. I think that should not be the place there. We wanted to talk about the product and the CMS itself. So I kind of used the future of Joomla to, in my opinion, define like target groups and also see how people would react if they would see the same or not. So the target groups I came up there, I also had like a look at the vision and mission of Joomla, which is on the joomla.org website. And I came up with, I think that's the target groups, and we wanted to address them at the sprint and also see that we have the people who would represent all the different groups. So in my opinion, it's like builders, so small and medium-sized companies or agencies that build Joomla website, non-profits, agencies themselves, developers, communities, providers like hosting providers, extension and template developers, trainers, educators, enterprises, regional governments, and public institutions. We also had then, I'll show it in a bit, we also added one more group at the sprint. And in that session, the future of Joomla, I also laid it out. I think the Joomla ecosystem has 3 layers. So in the middle is the core community. That's the teams, the developers, the people who provide the translations or whatever. Around that, we have the multipliers. So that's the extension developers, template providers, and so on. And then on the outside, we have the external users, and they kind of build on each other. And if one of them vanishes, we have a problem. So we need to nourish all 3 layers there. So then I had that session in summer for also like the sprint preparation. And then we also the session Future of Joomla. And we also had a feedback form so that people could give us their ideas, what they think should be in Joomla. Some people wrote us an email. So we collected all the different views of what people expect to be in Joomla 8. So now what happened there? So we went, the sprint was from 4th to 7th September, so about a month ago. Everybody arrived Thursday afternoon. So we had a dinner together and had an introduction round because we needed to know each other to have a good basis to work together. The plan was on Friday to do a SWOT analysis, so strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, to do a blue ocean method. I'll explain what that is. And then have a community session so that people who could not take part see what we are discussing and also give us their feedback. So we thought that's a really smart idea because not everybody could be there, and we could tell them what's going on and they could participate as well. On Saturday, the plan was to do like the product strategy canvas to lay out the features and also to get some like a guesstimate roadmap, and do another community session in the late afternoon to tell the people again what we were doing. And on Sunday, we wanted to summarize, do the roadmap and see where we would be going and planning. Oops. So that's the group, that's the place. It was a very nice location in the middle of nowhere in Germany. It was an Airbnb where we had a big room for us. We had all this seminar stuff. It was really nice working area there. We had a terrace, so the surrounding was really perfect. And I think that picture was on the very first day when we've asked anybody to close the laptops because everybody's sitting here with the laptops. So, and that's the whole group. And there's quite a few people here who were there. Can you raise your hands? Yes. So we have Karst here. We have Martin, Tom's there. Rahel is there. Benjamin. Laura's coming tomorrow. Benjamin is here. So who else is there? There's Dimitri Grammatikoyannis. He's from Greece. He's more like the JavaScript template front-end guy. Then you have Karst. Arend Henk. He's here? No, okay. So that's from the Dutch community and also like agency and developers. David Jardin from the security team is here. Beside him is Robert Deutz, who is the maintainer team lead. We have Marco there, who is they are having so he was also new. They're having a platform for health companies, kind of. Then Harald Leitner, who is also like in the community a long time and is release manager for Joomla 6.1. Benjamin is at the top right. He's the CMS release team lead. In front in the first row is Stefan, who is for the Joomla language translations, the coordinator, and he's also release manager for Joomla 6.1. Then there's Rahel, who is there. She's there. It's me, Tom, Laura, she will be here tomorrow, and Martin. So Laura is also like, she's working for a university. So we had also these public organizations there. So that was the group. And it was very, a very positive, constructive discussion area. So we had really, we were lucky kind of that the people who were there, and we had a very good group. So at the beginning we asked the people if the user targets groups that I laid out before, if we really cover them. So we asked the people to have a green dot if you see yourself in this group, and the blue dot if you have customers or clients in this group. So I think we were quite well set up. We added the small and local businesses at the bottom, and we only saw that the providers were not too well there, but we had people who were who provide like hosting and stuff for companies as well. Then we did the SWOT analysis. I like that picture. Still, yeah. So we had the SWOT. We had the strength. We had the weaknesses. We had the threats and the opportunities. So we collected that in groups, put it together. After the session, we clustered the whole thing. And yeah, so here's now some challenges. And Rick already, I understood some stuff he said. So Rick already mentioned a few of them in his introduction. So of course, one of the challenge and threats is AI disruption. Because everything's changing so fast. And that also brings me to the next, that speed and efficiency are essential. That, I mean, we have to move forward. We have to change things, and we cannot wait for 4 years and then do it then. So we have to do it now. Also, the market share is declining. We know that, but it's not just us. It's also the other open source CMS. They have the same problem because there's all this page builder, dynamic thing, software as a service stuff. And the entry barriers for Joomla sometimes seem too high, because when you install Joomla, you have a default template, you have sample data, but that's, I mean, they're there, but they're not that, yeah, wow, that's really cool. So we're really missing on that. So we discussed that and tried to figure out the details. And also we talked about, of course, the Joomla strengths. So we do have a modern code base. That's also why we keep up with all the PHP stuff and changing. Joomla is very flexible. You can change everything around. You can do backend menus, whatever. We have many features there, like user rights, ACL, and everything. We have a market share that's bigger than most of the really small ones. We are the second largest CMS still, but far behind WordPress, but still. And we have still a rich ecosystem. There was some kind of cleaning in the ecosystem market, I think, over the last years. But I think the extension developers that are out there, I think we really have a good basis. Because they're up to date, they're supporting the new versions and everything. So even if it's not as many as it was like 5 or 10 years ago, I think we still really have a good ecosystem, and it's easy. Not easy, but it's possible to do a new extension and be in that market. And the digital sovereignty, there's no company behind us, and we are open source. That's also very important for some clients to know there's a system that not one company can decide stuff on it. So with this, there was just a short part of that SWOT analysis. We went into the Blue Ocean method. And Blue Ocean It's a method where you see the red ocean, that's where all the sharks, where's all the blood in the water. So that's why it's called red. So, but you go for blue ocean. So that's where you try to create a demand. You focus on your unique value and differentiate instead of competition. So you don't compete with the crowded markets. So we wanted to have a look where Joomla could be there more in this blue ocean. So when you do this blue ocean method, you have you try to find, or we tried to find features that we wanted to. We had 4 parts. One was to raise, so where we want to be better, where you would reduce something, or where you create something, or where you eliminate something. So we collected all that stuff. And then we had all these different ideas. So here's already there, we tried to cluster them. And then we had this long list. And that was Friday, so second day. And we had then the community session. So we finished like at 4:30 in the afternoon, and at 5 we had the community session. And we were really like overwhelmed, like how do we tell the people now what we are working on? So we didn't have any fancy slides or anything, because we would have to prepare that for an hour at least or 2. And we didn't want to take the time there. So we didn't tell too much. And somewhere in that channel, in MetaMost, there's a channel about the sprint. It's public, you can just join it. And we got really so I mean, it was nice, but yeah, that didn't really help. I could have saved the time and didn't have to be at the session. So when the session was over, it was like for half an hour. And then we got this feedback, and it was written, and it's like, so, I mean, yeah, they're right. So we just told them, we discussed it stuff. We have some topics. We'll talk about it. And then we really discussed for 2 hours there over dinner. We had pizza. We discussed there over dinner how we could solve that problem, that people were really disappointed. They took the time. They had been there on that session, but they didn't get any like real information. So then David, it was mainly David who sat down and said, okay, we decided we could do like a feedback form, like a form where we ask people for feedback for all of the features. We had a list of like 35 features we talked in the Blue Ocean strategy. So we wanted the people to take part there, to give us feedback. And what we created a Google form. David, he created a Google form. And he put the idea is to do the idea evaluation. So we wanted to have the competitive advantage, and the people could all vote from 1 to 10. So do you think there's no advantage? It is an exceptional, unique selling point. Is it benefit for Joomla's target audience? Is it ease of implementation and the backwards compatibility? So each of the 35 things, you could give your opinion from 1 to 10. So yeah, we did that. That's how one of the features, for example, look like. The idea was for security to have a rate limiting framework, to have it at the basis so that different extension could use it, that you cannot try to log in like hundreds of times. So that's something there already in the core. So the form would look like. Here's another example for UI UX, a Jaxified backend, for example, to do that. So we had about that was Friday, I think at 10 p.m. we sent that form to the channel and asked the people to fill out the form, which was really long. So, and we gave them time until Saturday about noon, because we wanted to continue with the results as well. So we really had like 25 people who filled out the feedback form until that time. And what we did on Saturday morning, we did the same. So we sat together, we kind of changed the plan we had. So we sat together, the whole group, and we did something that's called planning poker. So that we went to all 35 features and to all the 4 criteria. And we always ask, like, who would you rate it 1 or 10, and would put our hands up. And in planning poker, you ask the lowest and the highest value for a reason, so that everybody can get a picture. And then, so we went through all that. And then we also voted on that form. And then it was like 3 in the afternoon or 2:30. So we had the people's feedback, 25. We had our 14 feedback. And then we wanted to put that together until 5, until the next community session. So some people already started to do other stuff, but we really tried to put the data together. And that was kind of the end result. So it was really hard work, and it's not perfect because we didn't have so much time. But that's the links there. There's a magazine article in the September Joomla magazine. There's also a link to that list, and that's the feature. We took the median. We didn't take the average, the median. And here you would see the single points because, like, for example, backwards compatibility breaks is a different value than if, what else we have, like the benefit, for example. So it might have a high benefit, but also a high backwards compatibility break value there. So we had to find out also we have to find out also for the future how to deal with all that stuff. So that was the Saturday thing then. And then we also went and said, if there's in the ecosystem, in the Joomla ecosystem, an extension that's doing the same, and we think just the people there, it's a good thing to use, then we don't to put that into core because we don't want to destroy our ecosystem. So that we also had to look, is there something in the ecosystem we know or we could find? And because we wouldn't go that far there we don't want to destroy the ecosystem, of course. So yeah, so we took that into consideration as well. And then it was like Saturday night, and was also some part to David. Because he had to leave then, but he said he will do something on the train, and he kind of worked on to aggregate the whole thing. We also did a lot more discussion there, and it makes sense to have like a product strategy. And we figured out there's 3 areas we want to focus on. The one is defend and expand. Another one is to increase the efficiency within Joomla, the product, and also to simplify onboarding. So if we aggregate those features, they would fit into these 3 areas. So what's there in more detail? To defend is, we have a market leadership in accessibility in open source CMS. And we really need to defend that so that someone like Drupal or whatever, they could do that in the backend as well, but in the backend, nobody else has it as an authoring tool. So we need to really make sure we stay WCAG compliant here in the future as well. So that was one point. Also security, we have secure updates, signed updates. The TUF is the update framework. No other CMS system has that. So we have secure updates. And also for regulatory compliance, we have many things built in, like action log, versioning, and the privacy dashboard. That's important for some kind of organizations. So we should defend those areas, and there's quite some features up there. This means protect what makes Joomla strong and expands the current market position. That would be, for example, that's things that you cannot do easily with an extension because it goes very deep into the core. For example, extend the versioning with draft features, draft of content items, for example, to create a draft, and then I later publish it. Automated workflows. We have workflows, but they could be automated. So that's not something you can do easily with an extension. So then also extended filtering by custom fields and the multi-site, sub-site concept. So that's also ideas we had there, and they could expand the current market position. So even enhance what makes Joomla strong, not only protect it. Increase efficiency, and the areas that we covered there, let's make Joomla AI ready. One part is there's extensive documentation missing for that, so that also AI understands us. So it's not only the user, but also the API documentation, stuff like that. Create a framework layer to support easy AI integration, an interface that AI can interact with, and also to provide or make MCP servers possible. So that was also a topic. Make Joomla ready for the AI area. Simplify onboarding. Model context protocol. Thanks. That's agents. AI agents can talk to your server. So yeah, sure. Simplify the onboarding, like to create that real wow effect when you install Joomla. And one idea that's there, like to have a new default template or default template that's more modern sample data that's better and showcase what Joomla is capable of, reduce the complexity in the user interface, and improve documentation, user documentation. So these topics were more for the simplified onboarding. So show newcomers the wow factor. That's the thing there. So that's the roadmap to Joomla 8. With Joomla 6, you would have like step-by-step improvements. So smaller things or features that could be there within 2 years, but also prepare for Joomla 7, because Joomla 7 can have the busy breaks. We're too late for Joomla 6 for that. So we will see how AI will influence us in the next, I don't know, half year, and our system. So with Joomla 7, we could make the bigger moves. And in Joomla 8, we can build on that foundation then. So I'm running out of time. So Joomla 6 will, within define and expand, for example, then we listed all the features that we had before. That looks like this in the strategy paper. We will publish the strategy maybe today, maybe tomorrow on the developer.joomla.org. I have the link there, and you can find the details there. I want to tell you that's also the list for the Joomla 7. What's the plan with all the different features, but that would be too much details now. So the next step is to publish that strategy paper, to create the feature sheets for the roadmap. So each, we have all these ideas, and we want to have them now in more details. So the people who were on sprint will now work on to get out more details. And then we will also publish those, so that if you're interested in a topic, you can go there and say, okay, I want to contribute time or money. And that's also like the part, we have to find out, and there's still something to go, how, if you want to contribute money, how we could do that. Where would it go? So if you have some ideas here, you're welcome. Just contact me. So communication is important and ongoing, and we will meet with the sprint people at the beginning of December again, and we'll do that kind of quarterly and work in between. And most likely we'll plan to have a next sprint next year. So there were also topics beyond the code, like the community, marketing, outreach. We're also taking that further, because we had ideas not only for the CMS itself, but they are there. We put them down. So there's a Joomla 8 sprint recap. It's in the magazine from September. You can also find more details there. What's that?
I have no idea.
Phil has no idea. That's good. Joomla 6 comes out on October 14th, so in like less than 2 weeks. And Joomla 5.4, which will be the bridge version to there. Joomla 5.4 gets only one feature. That's the automated updates. What's that? October 15th. The day after. It's the 15th of the month at 15 UTC, which is 17 now. I'm doing the new to Joomla sessions every 15th of the month. It should actually be called new to the Joomla community sessions. They're there in Mattermost. So if you want to know something about the communities every month, I'm there. Come, ask, learn new people, and be there. The strategy and features will be published on developer.joomla.org. That's the date to remember. Benjamin. Yes. If you want to get involved in that whole thing and need once more detail, I'm here. Benjamin is there. Just contact us in the next days or today. Thanks. And there's the sponsors. They're really important.